Hello everybody. Today we are going to discuss about two phylum, the two phyla, that is platyhelminthes and the nemahemin. So I'll begin with the platyhelminthes. Right after the kingdom Coelenterate, the phylum platyhelminthes comes, and if you look at these, the chart flow chart, you are going to see sponges, then cnidarians, and the flatworms. These flatworms are also known as platyhelminthes. Uh, when we discuss about the platyhelminthes, we are going to look at a few characteristics and examples, and we are going to look at some of the typical characteristics that might be very unique to this phyla. So today in this lesson we are going to look at both the phyla, phylum platyhelminthes and the phylum nemahemin. So this is a typical example. This is a third group of animals, phylum platyhelminthes. So what we'll look at is we'll look at some of the characteristic features of the platyhelminthes. These characteristics may be even useful to you to reflect in your practical records. So platyhelminthes is also known as the flatworm because you can just think of planaria, think of those tapeworms. These are all flatworms. So commonly they are called flatworms. They are eumetazoans. These animals are the true cell-bearing animals, therefore they are called eumetazoa. They are bilaterally symmetrical because body can be divided into uh, divided date into uh, distinct equal half, similar equal half. Therefore, they are bilaterally symmetrical. These group of animals are acoelomate, which means they don't form any coelomates. Although these animals are diploblastic, this is very important to know that these animals is a diploblastic. So far, we have seen the animals phyla Porifera, phyla Coelenterates are diploblastic animals. This is the first time that this group of animals shows three germ layers: ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. So, however, these mesoderm do not split to form coeloms, thus they are acoelomate animals. Excretory organ. These animals, for the first time, it forms organ grade organizations of the body. So these animals has organs. The first distinctly seen organ is flame cells. Many cells work together to form excretory organ. So these animals is an organ-bearing animals which has got excretory system, digestive system, nervous system, and it has a respiratory system. These animals are hermaphrodites. Most of these groups have the animal have both the sexes present on same proglottids, which means each proglottid has got male and female parts. The reason for having these both the sexes together is uh, to ease the animal so that the reproduction can take very efficiently. If the sexes are far apart or its sexes are in different organisms, then these animals are quite difficult for them to meet each other for uh, further reproductions or for uh, intercourse. So that's why these animals are hermaphrodites, because both the sexes are present on the same proglottids. These animals also produce a large number of eggs, and such enormous production of egg leads to the uh, production of large number of animals, and this is because this group of animals have very rare chances of survival, because it has to remain in the various kinds of environment where the environments are very very hostile and their survivals are in stake. Most of the cells or the most of the larvae, they die because they cannot survive such extreme environmental conditions within the host. So they are also mostly parasites because they depend on to the host for both life cycle as well as for the nutrition. The life cycles are complete in a multiple host. This is because the life cycle is so complex. It needs 2-3 hosts to complete. Therefore, it produces a large amount of eggs, and at least of 100 eggs, 50% or less than 50% will have an opportunity or may have a chance to survive. So life cycle mostly completed in 2-3 hosts, so they have multiple hosts. Example of these flatworms are tapeworm, liver fluke, and planaria. We are going to see this is the first tapeworm. This is how it will look like. It has got a lot of proglottids, segmented proglottids. Each segment has got both the sexes present within that. Therefore, this animal can produce eggs within each proglottids, a lot of eggs. So when it gets detached from the host body and goes along with the fecal matter, and it goes into the grasses where these will be eaten up by the pigs, and then the larvae are grown in the pig's body or the pig's body tissue. These tapeworm, mature tapeworm, has hooks, suckers, and also the scroll. So these hook and sucker is for attachment to the host's epithelial tissue in the intestine. So these animals has developed, it has although lost many organs, they don't have a sensory organ, they don't have many of the organs as being lost, but however it has developed the hooks and the suckers so that it remain attached to the intestinal wall of the host. Let us look at next. This is a planaria. If the section of the planaria is being cut, you are going to look at, like, you are going to see like this kind of things, where you are going to see there is a primitive knob cords, there is a sperm duct, and there is oviduct, testes, epidermal layers of cells. So basically this animal has a very very primitive nervous system, has a primitive reproductive system. So therefore there is an intestine, and there also have got quite a primitive eye spot, because these animals totally live into the bodies, in the host body, and depends for its nutrition, and also for the to complete the life cycle. Therefore these animals most of the time has lost many of the organs. They have very very thin cuticles, which allows them to suck the food from the host. Similarly, this is just to show that this animal has got a poorly developed digestive system, excretory system, nervous system, and reproductive system, whereas we have not seen in the cylindrids. So somewhat there is an advancement in this group of animals. This is to show you how the animals try to complete this life cycle. In the human liver, these animals, the adults remain there and produce an egg, and eggs is being released along with the fecal matter, and this will be eaten by the snail. And then in the snail, this radia larva and the Cercaria larva develops within the snail host, and then these snail hosts again release out the Cercarian larva, and it enters into the fish, where it becomes a metacercarial cyst. It will remain cyst covered by the hard covering, and this will enter into the fish, and then remain in the fish tissue. And if the fish are eaten by the human, again it gets infected into the liver, and this will again continue its life cycle. So this is how the flatworms uh, completes its life cycle, and this is all about the uh, flatworms. So now we are going to look at again the nemahelminthes or the nematodes. Typical example of nematode is the scahelminthes. These group of animal has got a quite a unique character that is slightly different from the platyhelminthes. These are nemahelminthes, and it is also known as roundworm. The body is round and solid. They are bilateral symmetrical, and they are cylindrical. They have a cylindrical body. They are having a pseudocoeloms. If you look at later, if you look at the structure, body structure inside these animals, you are going to see as if there is a coelom, but that is not a true coelom. This coelom is being filled by body cells. This animal has no circulatory systems, and most of these animals are parasites. They are totally relying on the host. And similarly, they have an high fecundity, which means enormous production's ability to produce the eggs. Mouth is equipped here. They have a piercing type of organs on the mouth, which is called stylet. That is for digging and piercing into the host. These animal has the ability to produce sexually and asexually. They produce so sexually. Both the male and females remains in the close vicinity. The example of these animals are scaris, hookworm, and pinworm, and filarial worms. So there are few unique groups of roundworms. However, these both the groups are called platyhelminthes and nemahelminthes, and we are going to look at as a helminthes parasites. Please keep in mind we are going to look at these two groups as helminthes parasites because both the groups are parasites. If you look at this is what you call, I was talking about the body cavity. This looks like a body cavity where you see there is oviduct and you are going to see uterus, but these spaces are not free. These being filled by the amyloidocytes, so therefore there is no space, and this is space are pseudocoeloms. It is also called false coelom. Yeah, with that we have come to an end discussing about the platyhelminthes and nemahelminthes. So let's look at some of the questions. Please think about this question. What are the difference between the two phyla, nemahelminthes and platyhelminthes? What characteristics differentiate one phyla from another? So we have discussed both the phyla here. Please look at which are the distinct characteristics that differentiate one phyla from another. What is distinctly evolved character that is observed between flatworm and roundworm? So you try to think about this answer and try to note down in your notebook, or maybe I will try to give you the space where you can start writing these about these questions. Maybe I'm going to produce a space for you to write on the VLE. Thank you.